All right, everyone, we're here with Brian, founder and inventor of AmpGenie, and we have some incredible things to show you here at CES 2025. Brian, take it away.
Hey, thanks so much, Chris. And yeah, I am with AmpGenie. I am the inventor and founder of AmpGenie. And AmpGenie, quite simply, is this gadget right here. And what this gadget does is actually starts your stereo automatically as soon as you start any connected player, which could be any type of audio, such as a CD player, a Sonos player, television, DJ booth, cassette deck, turntable, computer audio, you name it. If you have sound and you want that sound to make your stereo turn on immediately without you having to do anything, this is exactly what it's invented for. And there's obviously other solutions to that, such as works with Sonos, which is free but doesn't always work and only supports a few models of receivers. And there's also very expensive control systems like Control 4, RTI, URC. Those are great platforms, but they're very expensive. They're really designed to control the whole home, and they're kind of overkill for something as simple as just turning your stereo on. And furthermore, they can still have bugs and things that make them go offline, whereas AmpGenie doesn't even go on your network, so there's nothing to really ever break on it. So I'll give you a quick little demo if you'd like.
Yeah, let's see how it works.
How it works. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the Sonos player here working on Wi-Fi, so we brought in our own CD player. But just as a quick note about Sonos, this is not a Sonos-specific product, but many people will use it with a Sonos player because they already have a whole home full of Sonos, and they're used to getting that instant response from the Sonos app. And they're probably frustrated when they try to use their Sonos player, like this port, along with the receiver, because there's all those extra steps involved, turning it on, setting the right input, and so on. It's very frustrating. A lot of people just, frankly, sadly, don't use their systems that often just because it's those extra steps that are frustrating.
For sure.
So our goal is to get you to use your system more and to make it as easy as possible so there's nothing to even touch. So you tell your Sonos app either, hey Sonos or Alexa, start my Sonos player, and boom, player starts, AmpGenie hears it, receiver kicks into action. And that is actually a really cool thing to say, hey Sonos, play, and see all this stuff wake up instantly in front of you. So we can't do that, but we can almost do the exact same thing using the CD player. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually just hit the play button, and what you're gonna see is AmpGenie is going to go from red to start sending some IR commands that you're going to see blink right here. It's going to turn the Denon on. It's going to set the input, the DSP, the volume, and it's all going to happen in about 1 second.
And just before you do the example here, Brian, you're stating that it's listening into the audio waves, so it's going to hear the response from the input source, in this case, the CD player?
Exactly. AmpGenie actually has all three types of inputs on it. It's got your digital SPDIF over coax, it's got your standard left and right over analog, and it's also got Toslink optical. So as long as your player has one of those, plug it in, it's listening for that the whole time. So as soon as you start your audio player, it senses those audio peak waves. We're actually listening. We have digital analog converters that are actually listening to that signal, and that's what tells AmpGenie, hey, there's audio present. Send the IR macro to the receiver so that the audio starts playing.
So I see you work with a lot of big name receivers here.
Yeah, we work with 11 different brands all together, and really at just about every major automation platform, because frankly, all these products are already enabled on these platforms. So all we really had to do was just tie them together by saying, as soon as the audio starts, send the commands, and boom, now you have a smart system with very little work. Literally, you could set one of these up in anywhere from about 2 to 10 minutes.
Nice.
You don't need any special training. If you're smart enough to hook up your own receiver, you're definitely smart enough to hook up an AmpGenie.
Okay, so we're going to be testing it out today on a Denon receiver?
Yeah, this is a Denon, but we work with all these other different models as well. Denon's really cool because it uses quick select, so it actually boots up really, really quickly. And you're going to see it happen right now.
Let's see it. How
so
fast?
Any second? Well, our response time is actually less than 1 second. It's probably about a quarter of a second. The only thing that there's any delay with is every modern receiver has to first warm up for about 2 to 5 seconds. Unless it's already on, then it would just switch inputs and you'd be instant. So AmpGenie's actions take less than 1 second to finish, but the receiver takes about 4 or 5 seconds on its own. And that would be the same no matter what, even if you just hit the power button or you have a control system. There's no way around that. The internals of the amp need to warm up.
Great.
But we actually tried enough different models of receivers that we have a long enough delay between commands that even if you have very large amps, like on some of the really high-end models that we tested, it's a long enough space so that it catches every command and there's no missing of commands. We did a lot of extensive testing with hundreds of different models of receivers just to make sure. So without further ado, 3, 2, 1, and there it goes. So we've already sent all of our commands. We just finished sending our commands, and we're just waiting for the Denon to finish warming up. And there it is. So literally all I did was tap the play button, or I could have said Alexa play, and AmpGenie did everything else for us automatically. I didn't have to hit power, I didn't have to select any inputs, I didn't have to do anything.
I noticed you didn't use a remote or anything, you just simply wanted to hear what you wanted, you push the play, and it happened.
We didn't touch the receiver at all. And it's even cooler with voice control, or if you have control systems like Lutron where you can just tap a button and start your audio, but this is what we've got here to work with at the Venetian. The other thing is this particular AmpGenie is programmed, it has a programmable auto off circuit as well that I have set for 1 minute right now. So since AmpGenie is now doing a countdown, as soon as a minute goes by, it's actually going to send a power off command and turn the receiver off for us.
Gotcha.
You can also do that with the auto off or standby settings in the receiver, but we give you that option so that AmpGenie will just do it for you automatically. And it can either be 1 minute, 10 minutes, or just don't send any power off commands.
Great. And Brian, who is this product for? Who's your ideal customer?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's really for anybody that owns, for anybody that owns or works with AVRs. So if either you're a homeowner that has an AVR or two in your home, and you just want it to be much easier to use than it ever was before, same sound, great speakers, same everything, but just much more convenient, amazing. If you're an integrator like myself, I also run an integration business called Circuit Genius Network Audio Video, and we get tasked with solving this problem all the time. People say, hey, why do I have to go to another app just to use this thing? I got news for you, Mr. Homeowner, you don't have to anymore. Be happy to sell you an integrator. I buy them wholesale so I can sell it to you at retail and still make a decent markup as an integrator, make my customer really happy, and also make myself happy as an integrator because 1, I get to make money on the equipment, 2, I get to solve my customer's problem, and 3, probably most of all as an integrator, the thing that we love most is no warranty truck rolls. Knowing that this product is not going to cause them frustration that I'm going to come back and have to fix for free. That peace of mind of knowing that I've solved a problem without creating more problems for me is actually very valuable.
So let's nerd out a little bit. Let's go into the nitty gritty of the control. So I want to know, how does the AmpGenie receive its input source?
Yeah, so AmpGenie, let's actually just pull the cords out of this one for a second. I'll just show you this one up close. In fact, there are all 3 types of inputs on board. You got your digital SPDIF over a single coax in yellow. You got your 2 analog left and right, white and red. And then you also have optical toslink. And we also give you, by the way, all of these cables that we made ourselves because we're installers and we really do like clean installs and we cannot lie. So we actually made these custom cables so that you can do stuff like this and you can go directly out the digital out of your Sonos player and right into there and have a really nice slick install.
That is clean, that is clean.
And I actually thought these would exist, but they didn't, so we had to make them ourselves. I was just like, hey, get us some like 8-inch cables. They're like, nobody makes those. Okay, well, we're gonna start making them. So you actually get an 8-inch Toslink cable, you get an 8-inch SPDIF cable, as well as this really cool 8-inch analog built-in piggyback splitter cable, which is amazing. So if you have a turntable or a tape deck or something that's analog, obviously you're gonna split that signal. We're not gonna make you do that. We're gonna give you the splitter so you literally just stick it in between your receiver and the player. And we actually have high impedance transformers inside AmpGenie so that when you do have to split an analog signal, it doesn't degrade the sound quality. And that's actually important to note that no matter how you use AmpGenie, it will never make any change in your actual sound because the audio doesn't actually flow through AmpGenie. We're monitoring it passively, but we don't send audio back to your receiver. The only thing that comes out of AmpGenie is IR commands. So just good to note, your system is gonna sound exactly the same as it did before. It's just gonna be much, much easier to use.
Very cool. So it sounds like you're using very simple technology to make everything as simple and easy for the end consumer as possible.
Yeah, that's a great observation. I kind of joke that AmpGenie is actually a very retro device, and it is kind of decidedly that way by choice because, you know, as an integrator, everything else that we work with in the control system realm, whether it's Control 4 or RTI or URC, it requires multiple levels of authentication just to start getting anything done. Just to program a remote, I need to have an account, I need to connect to the cloud. Half the time I need to take out a 2FA and type in a PIN. It's like, whoa, is this Fort Knox? I just want to turn my CD player on. So and I think many integrators, and even homeowners, audio lovers, are a little bit frustrated by that. It's like, we got enough gadgets, we got enough IP connected stuff. My whole point was to make this as reliable and simple as possible and have as few failure points as possible. So there's no logins, there's no smart apps, there's no Bluetooth, there's no drivers, there's nothing to update. It doesn't even connect to the internet. Your player already does that. So last thing we want to do is have another device that you have to worry about falling off your network or losing its IP or having a DHCP conflict. So yes, it is definitely very decidedly retro. But what's interesting is, we probably could have built this box in the 80s or 90s pretty easily. Most of what's in here existed then, but what we didn't have back then was voice control and streaming. So it was kind of made more sense. In the old days, you had to get up anyway to flip your cassette or flip your record or stick your 8-track in, or God forbid you had a video disc. So we kind of got used to the fact that when we had removable media, we had to get up and do stuff. And we kind of learned, okay, record is phono 1, which is input 3. But as the world gravitated towards streaming, which is amazing, and voice control and things being hands-free, we kind of got this concept of, well, why am I touching this equipment again?
Yeah.
Why should I do that if I've already got Alexa and Hey Sonos and Siri? Why do I need to go and open up another app? So that was really my whole motivation, was what can we do to shorten that path between the end user and getting to the joy of music? And that's where we coined the term, the joy of music effortlessly.
Nice.
Thank you.
Brian, so this has been absolutely awesome. So I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with us today at CES. For the people that are watching, where can they find out more about AmpGenie? Where can they pick up one, and how much does it cost?
Absolutely, great questions. So AmpGenie is sold on our website, www.ampgenie.com. It's also sold through qualified integrators. They buy it wholesale and they can sell it to you for the same price. The MSRP of AmpGenie is $399 US. And there are a few distributors and other dealers that we're signing up this year that are probably going to be on our site. We'll probably have a dealer locator. But the easiest way right now is just to buy them from us. We will also have them on Amazon by the end of the year. So there's some pretty big plans for this year. But honestly, design and distribution and marketing is way less fun than actually building products. So we look forward to working on the next generation of products and also having them in lots of places that you can find them.
Brian, a true inventor, a true entrepreneur, a true integrator. I really appreciate your time today, and thanks for showing us everything that AmpGenie has to offer.
Thanks, Chris. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir.